So you've just landed your first job as an ABAP developer, and you are ready to build the future. But then what happens when your first assignment looks like it's straight out of the past? Well, today we're going to lay out a roadmap to help you navigate that exact challenge. So, picture this. You've just graduated. You've got all the latest web tech under your belt. Your head is full of modern programming concepts. You are totally fired up, right? Ready to sink your teeth into some real-world development and actually make your mark. And then, bam, reality hits. You open up your first assignment and find yourself staring at code and systems that feel like they're in a time capsule from the 90s. It's jarring, and let's be real, it can feel like a huge letdown. So think of this as your survival guide. First, we'll tackle the developer's dilemma. Then we'll dig into why all this old code is still around. From there, we're going to arm you with a modern toolkit, figure out what you can safely forget, help you navigate those first big hurdles, and finally, chart your path toward the future of ABAP development. All right, first up, the developer's dilemma. Yeah, let's talk about that big gap between the job you thought you were getting and the one you actually have. And hey, if this sounds familiar, I promise you, you are so not alone in this. I mean, you've spent years getting good at modern development. You get object-oriented principles, you've probably built some web APIs, maybe you even know your way around a CI/CD pipeline. You are so ready to apply all this amazing, cutting-edge knowledge. But here's the thing, the reality is, a lot of established companies are running on systems that have been just kind of humming along for decades. And that can be super frustrating, right? Especially when you feel like your modern skills are just collecting dust while you're stuck maintaining code that might literally be older than you are. So you might be asking, why is this so common? Look, it's not that companies don't want to modernize. The truth is, moving these core business systems, the ones that keep the lights on, over to S/4HANA or the cloud, that is a massive, complex undertaking. For a lot of them, it's a journey that takes years, not months. And this right here is the heart of the problem. On one side, you've got your modern, university-honed skills. And on the other, you've got the on-the-ground reality of so many first projects. Your key to success here? It's learning how to build a bridge across that gap. Okay, enough doom and gloom about the problem. Let's start building the solution. The single most powerful thing you can do right now is to focus your energy on a very specific set of modern ABAP tools and technologies. This is going to be your toolkit for the future. Okay, so this is where you want to focus your energy. First up, get really good at the new ABAP constructs. They'll make your code so much cleaner. Then, get a rock-solid foundation in ABAP object-oriented programming and the dictionary. You'll also want to write automated tests with ABAP Unit. This is huge for building robust, reliable stuff. Next, learn to model your data efficiently with Core Data Services. We call it CDS. And then build those modern Fiori-style apps with OData and the ABAP RESTful Programming Model, or RAP. And finally, and this is a big one, make the Eclipse IDE your home base. Seriously, it's where all the modern ABAP development is happening. Just as important as knowing what to learn is knowing what you can safely, ignore. Freeing up that mental space from all the outdated tech lets you really focus on what's going to drive your career forward. So here's what you can totally deprioritize. Don't spend a ton of time on classic DynPro screens. Honestly, modern ALV reports cover most of those needs anyway. Steer clear of those old-school reports that use write statements. Focus on object-oriented structures instead. And when it comes to forms, you can pretty much skip legacy tech like SAP Script and Smart Forms. Adobe Forms is the current standard, and that's the one you really need to know. All right, let's get real for a second. Even with the perfect learning path, it's not always going to be a walk in the park. There are a couple of classic stumbling blocks that trip up almost every single new ABAP developer. So let's get ahead of them, shall we? Okay, the two biggest hurdles you're probably going to face are, 1, really getting your head around how internal tables work, and 2, becoming a master of the ABAP debugger. Let's break these down. So what in the world is an internal table? Well, think of it like a temporary table that only exists inside your program's memory while it's running. Its whole job is to hold and process structured data, like a bunch of rows you just pulled from a database table. Okay, for anyone coming from other languages, this is the crucial part. A simple array. That's like a list of items on a shelf, right? You just grab them by their number. But an ABAP internal table, that's more like a whole filing cabinet drawer. Each file, or row, can have its own complex structure. and you can even give it a key so you can find what you need lightning fast. Seriously, grasping this difference is a huge aha moment. And now, for your real secret weapon, the debugger. Look, I know it can feel kind of slow and clunky at first, but I promise you, mastering the debugger is the single fastest way to understand any program. It's like a window into the code's soul, and it will quickly become the most valuable tool you use every single day. No question. Okay, so let's zoom out for a minute and see why this focused approach is so critical for your career. This isn't just about learning the latest buzzwords, it's about strategically positioning yourself for the future of SAP development. And here's the really good news. The best part, really. ABAP is evolving. The development concepts, the tools like Eclipse, the programming models, they're all moving closer and closer to the wider world of modern software engineering. So the skills you're focusing on today, they're becoming more relevant and transferable than ever before. You know, this quote just gets right to the heart of it. The industry definitely has a responsibility to guide new talent toward modern practices, but you, as a new developer, you have the power to take control of your own learning path. You can be the one to actively seek out and champion these new technologies in your own team. Look, your start in ABAP doesn't have to be defined by legacy code. By focusing on this modern toolkit and really mastering these first few hurdles, you're not just learning a language, you're building a future-proof career in the whole SAP ecosystem. You have the roadmap. So, what are you going to build first?